Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, just trying to keep the community informed and local government as honest as possible. In this video, we will be going over the agenda for the January 11th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. I won't be reading every single word on every single slide in this video, but I will encourage you to pause to read as we go along. This meeting will not be carried on YouTube Live. The teleconferencing number is 520-525-8911. This is a toll call and you might be charged depending on the phone plan you have. If you attend in person, you are required to wear a face covering. Under presentations, there will be an update on the General Plan 2040 process. Under public comment, it states that you get 5 minutes to speak on items that are not on the agenda. However, that could change based on what they do with the proposed procedures manual they're planning to adopt. Discussion items. A. Discussion of the City of Livingston Planning Commission policies as amended July 15th. Proposed establishment of meeting procedures. Example provided. We'll be going into that more later. Item B, City of Livingston Planning and Development Projects Update List. We'll also have a little bit on that later. A quick peek at what was important about the August 10th meeting. This is when the Planning Commission discussed the Tierra Santa Villa's residential apartment complex project. And an update on projects. However, the list of projects is not included here. Special meeting on September 28th was about a lot line adjustment, which was improved. Why they had to do this at a special meeting, I don't know. The site plan design review for the 3 new residential units was also approved. There were questions about 3-story buildings and also about code enforcement for semi-truck parking on Dwight Way. Let's take a look at some of the proposed changes to these policies. I'll be going through this fairly quickly, but feel free to pause to read the details. Note that strikeouts are for text being removed and underlining is for text being added. Notice the strikeouts in blue on the top and the strikeouts in purple below having to do with alcohol. Here we have a significant change that all fees are to be paid no later than 0 days prior to the actual Planning Commission meeting. With the changes to this section, it reads, Planning Commission strongly recommends that an applicant or an applicant's representative attend the Planning Commission meeting to answer questions. Members of the Planning Commission with questions or concerns about a scheduled Planning Commission agenda item should make every attempt to discuss the matter with the city planner prior to the Planning Commission meeting. Under home occupation permits, there is a large strikeout about that home occupation permits shall not directly compete with businesses in commercial zones. At the bottom here, there is a strikeout of mitigation monitoring programs to be approved by the Planning Commission. Here they're changing meeting decorum to meeting types and listing the types of meetings. Here we have the definition of regular meetings and adjourned meetings. Special meetings with 24 advance notice, emergency meetings with 1 hour prior notice, and that the meetings of emergency meetings shall be posted for a minimum of 10 days at City Hall as soon after the meeting as possible. Pay attention to how workshops are defined. The city planner and/or city manager may from time to time request that a matter be shared with the Planning Commission in a workshop setting. The workshop material will be shared with the Planning Commission, and the Commission is eligible to ask questions of staff on the matter to be discussed. The workshop will be considered a working discussion on a matter between a city staff and the Commission. No action will be taken by the Commission as a result of the workshop. The Commission is free to state their opinions with staff, but a workshop is not a public hearing, meaning the public will not be allowed to ask questions, but will be allowed to attend and observe the discussion. This entire section here on meeting types, open to the public, and about the agenda is stricken out. And another whole section which is stricken out. And more strikeouts. Some of these may end up in the procedures manual, but we'll see that when we get to it. And more strikeouts. Policy about apartment live-in manager. The Planning Commission shall require the property owner to use a live-in manager for multiple family complexes of 5 units or more. Failure to comply with a live-in manager requirement can be treated as grounds for disapproval of a site plan by the Planning Commission or revocation of a conditional use permit. Notice the words I've circled: can be, not shall be or must be, but can be, which means that it always doesn't have to. Under passable surfaces, item 5, all driveway access lanes shall be a minimum of 20 feet long, is stricken out. Here, the requirement of a maintenance agreement for all landscaping is stricken out. And this whole section on sidewalk construction is stricken out, as is this section on site plan design review, variances, and use permits, as well as the policy on multiple family parking. And policies on alcohol are stricken out. And here are more of the alcohol-related policies that have been stricken out, as well as these. Most of these strikeouts may have ended up in ordinances we have on the books, but I haven't had a chance to look those up yet. Here are some significant excerpts from the Draft Planning Commission Procedural Rules, City of Livingston. I would suggest that as we go along, you pause to read because I will be going through this pretty quick. Starting with the preface, the following is a single source reference document of the Livingston Planning Commission Procedural Rules. The procedural rules included in this reference document have been formally adopted by the Planning Commission pursuant to Livingston Municipal Code Chapter 2-2-6, Adoption of Rules. The document will be reviewed periodically and modified as the Planning Commission deems appropriate. Here we have definitions of regular meeting, other locations, location during local emergency, and holidays. Special meeting and emergency meetings, adjourn meetings, closed session, cancellation of regular meetings, quorum being 3, and chairman or the chair. Absence of chairman, chairman and vice chairman absence, attendance by the public, action minutes. Recordings of meetings. Audio recordings of proceedings shall be made and shall be maintained by the Secretary of the Planning Commission for a period of no less than 1 year. Audio recordings of proceedings shall be made and shall be maintained by the Secretary for a period of no less than 3 years. Order of business and general order. Closed session, reconvene to open session, adjournment. Action on agenda items. Staff comments. Items placed on written agenda. Rules of conduct. General procedure. Authority of the chair. Chair to facilitate Planning Commission meetings. Planning Commission deliberation and order of speakers. Limit deliberations to item at hand. Length of Planning Commission comments. Obtaining the floor. Motions. Procedure for motions. Process to make and second a motion. Motion amendments. Voting. Abstention. Tie votes. Motions for reconsideration. Non-observance of rules. Non-exclusive rules. Public hearings. General procedure. The staff presents its report. The applicant or appellant then has the opportunity to present his, her, its comments, testimony, or argument. Members of the public are provided with the opportunity to present their comments, testimony, or argument. The applicant or appellant is given an opportunity for rebuttal or closing argument. The public hearing, opportunity for public input portions thereof, is closed, and Planning Commission discusses and consideration occurs. Planning Commission decision occurs. The chair will announce the final decision. Time for consideration. continuance of hearings. Public discussion at hearings. Public member requests to speak. Planning Commission questions of speakers. Due process. Public oral presentation. Materials for public record. Germane comments. Comments and petitions. A reading in full shall take place if requested by any member of the Planning Commission. Oral presentations by members of the public. The person is requested to come to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record, and if speaking for an organization or other group, identify the organization or group represented. Okay, I'm not a lawyer, but it is my understanding that stating your address is not legally required. Audience public comment. Timing. Limited to 30 minutes total for all speakers, with each speaker given no more than 5 minutes. If there are more than 10 audience public comment speakers, each speaker's time may be reduced from 5 minutes so that all speakers have an equal time to speak. At the chair's discretion, the audience public comment time may be extended as necessary. City matters. Comments are limited to items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. Agenda item oral presentation. Time limit. Presentation submitted in writing. Comments in writing encouraged. Repetitious comments prohibited. Speaker time limits for an agenda item. Waiver of rules. Decorum. Unruly conduct such as undue noise, hissing, profanity, insults, or physical disturbance shall not be permitted. Inappropriate actions. This has to do with perceived or inappropriate action by a planning commissioner. Agenda materials availability. Procedural rules. These rules may be amended at any meeting of the Planning Commission. Distribution. Vacancy caused by an absence. Absent without cause for more than 3 successive regular meetings, or absent from more than 4 regular meetings. A member is not absent without cause if it's due to illness or an unforeseen emergency or due to unplanned personal circumstances. Officers' election. Adjournment time, putting a limit on how long a meeting can go. Attendance. Political Reform Act. Disqualification. Statement of Economic Interest, Form 700. Political contributions. Bias. Here is a list of current projects in process, along with some notes about each project. These are pending with some notes about what needs to take place to move it from pending to in process. These are projects that have been approved along with some notes about each project. Any editorial content expressed on any of my videos in 2022 are my own as a resident of Livingston and do not represent the views and opinions of the City Council or the official position of the City of Livingston itself.